Hey, today we're making kutilkdew, a yogurt-based soup with wheat dumplings. The dumplings are traditionally made with a vegetarian egg filling, but also commonly eaten with meat-filled ones. Today, I'll be showing you how to make both fillings. For the vegetarian filling, called danhêrk, you're going to need flour, eggs, oil, and salt and pepper to taste. For the meat filling, you're going to need ground beef, onions, parsley, chicken bouillon, salt and pepper to taste, as well as some biryani seasoning, dried celery leaves, and paprika. For the exact measurements, check the description box. And also, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell. I post new Kurdish recipes every week. When it comes to the dough, there are a few ways to make it. The base usually consists of danhêrk or birwêş, which is a large grain semolina from the durum wheat. Sometimes it can be combined with bulgur, rice, or very fine semolina, either from the durum wheat or from corn. Today I'm using the large grain semolina, in Kurdish called danhêrk or birwêş, together with fine grain semolina. It's also known as smeat. Add salt to the wheat mixture and stir everything around, and add a little bit of water to rehydrate it. Mix everything, set it aside, and add a little bit of water every 10 minutes or so until it's all softened up and you can start kneading it into a dough. Remember, it's always easier to add water than to remove it, so go slowly with your water and get to know your wheat. For the yogurt soup or the yogurt base, you're obviously going to need some yogurt, an egg, chickpeas, fresh mint, dry thyme, and salt and pepper to taste. For water to yogurt ratio, depending on your yogurt type and other substitutions for the herbs or, for example, the chickpeas, check the description box. I don't know why, but I have a thing for small pans. Anyway, time to prep the fillings. Starting with the meat filling, go ahead and brown your beef. I didn't add any oil to my pan because I know my beef will render out enough fat on its own. Continue by adding your chopped onions, your chicken bouillon cube, and the rest of your seasonings. Stir everything around and cook it until your onions have softened. Give it a taste, and if needed, add some additional salt. And when you're all done and the mixture has cooled down, finish off by adding your chopped parsley. For the danhêrk or the vegetarian egg filling, start by warming up your oil and add your flour to it. Stir everything together until you get a smooth roux without any lumps. Toast it on medium-high heat until it changes color and becomes golden brown. When you reach that stage, move your roux to one side of the pan where it's no longer on direct heat, and add your eggs to the other side of the pan to scramble. Season with salt and pepper to taste, and when your eggs have cooked through, mix everything to combine. I like to cook them separately to begin with, and that's only so that I can have pieces of egg throughout the filling. Set everything aside and let it cool down until it's time to make the dumplings. Now let's get back to the dough. If this is your first time making it, I suggest you wet the wheat grains little by little as you go. Every 10 minutes or so, add about 100 grams of water. Mix or knead it thoroughly to make sure that every grain is getting rehydrated. It'll eventually go from a yellow grainy mixture to a more white and doughy-like consistency, like you can see here. You'll get to this stage when you've added the right amount of water and you've been kneading the dough all along the way. To finish the dough, pour pour it onto a clean surface and stretch the dough with the palm of your hands to form long gluten threads. Knead the dough for about 10 to 15 minutes. When your dough is ready, it's time to make the dumplings. I ended up using a little bit too much water, but if your dough is a bit firmer than mine is, it'll be much easier to work with. Make sure you use oil or water on your hands for the dough not to stick. And start forming the dough into equal-sized balls of around 45 to 50 grams each. To fill the dumplings, oil your hands, grab one piece of dough and flatten it out in one hand. Add about 1 tablespoon of filling in the middle and bring the edges together and form them by hitting the dumpling between your palms. Be firm but yet gentle, just to get as much air out as possible. The vegetarian ones I'm making slightly oval shape and the beef ones round, just so that I don't mix them up later. You can make a large batch of dumplings like I'm doing today and put them in the freezer for whenever you want to make a dish. When you freeze them, just make sure that you put them on a flat surface, and if you end up making a lot, just separate the different layers with some plastic wrap. This way they don't get stuck together. The next day, take them out of the freezer and put them in separate plastic bags to store easily in the freezer. If you want more kutilk or kufta recipes, let me know in the comment section. Now we're almost at the end, and all that's left to do is to make the yogurt soup base. Start by cracking 1 egg in a cold pot together with the yogurt and whisk it all until it's well combined. Add the water and continue to stir, and once you've mixed it all thoroughly, it's time to put your pan on the stove and bring it up to a boil. It's really crucial that you stir constantly, otherwise the yogurt could separate. Once it starts to get warm, add your salt and pepper, and when it starts to simmer, add your dry herbs and the chickpeas. When you see a boil, that's when you want to add the dumplings. Drop your dumplings in carefully and let them be for a few minutes. When you stir it around, just to make sure that nothing is stuck at the bottom, make sure that you go all the way down to the bottom of the pan with your spatula or your wooden spoon and stir it really carefully. The last thing left to do is to add the fresh mint leaves. Keep the pot boiling until all the dumplings are floating to the top. That's when you know that they're done and you're ready to eat. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you on the next one.